Night Crows is an MMORPG game that is approaching its first anniversary, with events taking place this week to celebrate its arrival. One question that may arise for players of Night Crows and other Web3 games in general is how much revenue did this game generate for the company that created the game, Wemade, in this one-year period? Let's look for answers. So if you are also curious to know this information, come and find out. Wemade x Night Crows. The company that developed Night Crows was Wemade, which has its Wemade blockchain, which according to them, has more than 500,000 simultaneous users. The game Night Crows was released in March 2024 and in its first 3 days generated $10 million in sales, as many players believed that it could be the replacement for MMORPGs. However, for many this did not happen, because the game's PvP fights took a long time to be implemented and the combat system itself was not very engaging. But even so, between February and September 2024, the game accumulated more than $140 million, and some believe it could reach $200 million, becoming one of the most successful NFT game launches. However, even though it is focused on Web3 games, there are many microtransactions within the game, which use other forms of payment, meaning that only a small part of its revenue comes from transactions carried out over the blockchain, of which only $700,000 came from this method. Therefore, an analyst in the Web3 gaming industry said that Wemade's games only provide an option to monetize earnings, but that they are not fundamentally Web3. Sustainability of Night Crows. In the Wemade MMORPG games model, many players end up spending to win, especially the big players known as whales, who invest heavily in their characters by buying packs from the Night Crows cash store. Another problem is the numerous bots, which farm almost 24 hours a day in the game to constantly withdraw, taking liquidity from the system. These two issues raise doubts about the game's long-term sustainability, because players may reduce their investments and the number of bots may increase, causing an imbalance. However, despite the model raising these doubts, Night Crows and Wemade have achieved something that other projects have struggled to achieve, which is to generate profit from their games. Since we often see projects spending a lot to maintain operations without generating a positive result, which in the long term will represent the bankruptcy of the developer company and ultimately the end of the game, generating revenue as Night Crows has done allows the game's development to continue and new events and features to be added to the game. If it were possible to reach a middle ground in which players were encouraged to use the game's token, in this case $Crow, instead of making transactions in the cash store in other ways, these amounts would end up going to the game's ecosystem and not all to the company itself. One example of this was the addition of the Crow store, but it has not been used much by players since the cash offers are better. If this model were implemented, the company's revenue could come from transaction fees when tokens are converted to acquire Crow. What did you think of this result in Night Crow's revenue? Share your opinion in the comments. If you liked the video, leave a like and subscribe to receive more videos like this.